Hello, everyone, and welcome to the finals of TNH. We have PinpingHo, a very popular player in the scene. He's been around for a while with his Shaman decks. Played in BlizzCon last year, played in the Winter Prelim earlier this year. And then we have Kycoo. He's a little bit less known player, but he currently plays for Team Prismatic, and he finished Rank 1 Legend with Patron last year on the EU server. Anything else to add, WEOS?
No, I don't know too much about Kycoo myself, just because I'm not a European player, but he's obviously a very strong player. He's here in the finals of a very stacked tournament. TNH is hosted every week, and every week it just gets bigger and bigger, and all these big names constantly playing it. So to get this far and get to this point, you really have to be at the top of your game, and I believe we're seeing two players at the top of their game, even if PinpingHo is playing some we can't really call them unconventional decks because we don't know how the meta has really worked itself out yet, but they're interesting, and in my opinion they're just super fun. So I'm really excited to see the series. We have more of a conventional lineup versus more of the new standard lineup, so it's going to be interesting, and I'm really excited.
For sure. Both players only had a few hours to build their decks. This tournament started the same day as the set released, only a few hours later. So PinpingHo said, you know what, I'm willing to risk it for the biscuit and bring some newer decks. And we had Kycoo on the opposite end of the spectrum say, I'm playing the same old stuff, I'm getting some points and calling it a day. And he made it all the way to the finals with that strategy, and so did PinpingHo. So we got to see that both of them can work, and both of these players made it very far.
Yeah, I love seeing both sides of the spectrum. It just shows that standard is as good as advertised.
And in this series, we have Kycoo and PinpingHo both having their Shamans banned, and then we have Kycoo with Mage, Rogue, and Warlock, and PinpingHo with Hunter, Paladin, and Druid. Yep, Druid.
And we'll go over the game. They're starting up now. One last point on that. Both Shamans banned. That just is 100% correct.
And gosh, we finally got to see that. And then we finally get to see Kycoo's Mage deck. It's Freeze Mage, which we haven't seen all tournament, and it's expected to be one of the bigger decks here.
Yeah, they lose Mad Scientist, but they really don't lose anything else in the format. So it seems like a very strong play going forward.
I agree.
And here we are on Kycoo's turn, and he is just debating whether or not he wants to clear this fiery bat.
He has the option of coin pinging, which won't let him play Acolyte next turn. And
for that reason,
Acolyte's going to be great for him, I think.
Yeah, for that reason, I think you hold off.
Job's done.
It wouldn't have been very strong if PinpingHo had something like a Huge Toad or a King Zealot there, anything with 3 attack, really. So.
Just hero power? It's a fantastic.
Yeah. It's just
fantastic result.
Oh.
And you can go this route. This is fine. I sort of still like coining Acolyte, but.
Yeah. This definitely makes the Acolyte a lot harder to get value out of. I think I definitely would have gone with the Acolyte, but the ping definitely isn't completely awful.
No. And Cone of Cold is a card where, such as you can see that come off the top. It's a card that I think a lot of people are replacing for the Scientist. Like I think Laughing has already released his list, and that's one of the new mainstays. So it's not too surprising to see it, but it's a very interesting card.
Yep. I don't think it'll get too much value here, just because he has 2 Frost Novas. But with all the freezes, it will definitely try to help him stay alive until he can get that Alexstrasza, get that burn, and burn out PinpingHo.
How do you like Frostbolt, Coin, Acolyte? Because not seeing much else.
You could just play the barrier.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to play the barrier eventually. With the removal of Mad Scientist, you no longer have the option of just keeping the block of keeping the block in your hand and then getting the other one off Mad Scientist and making sure you have them both. You kind of have to draw into both blocks, play them both down, grind that out. So I wouldn't have mind seeing the block there. Just playing the Acolyte by itself seems kind of weak.
That's weak in my mind. I feel like I definitely like the idea of getting Acolyte out because you need to get it out soon, but not securing or at least trying to set up additional value for it seems weak.
And he's actually like halfway dead here, and he's actually under a lot of pressure. PinpingHo did a good job of curving out here and keeping the pressure on. He's
He
at
did
6.
a good job of curving out.
I mean, like even with the hero power, like his
Yeah,
deck
no,
did a good job. All right.
I know what you're saying. It's just funny to me. No, you're 100% correct though. Like he made sure to use his hero power efficiently, and now he's being rewarded for not floating any mana and knowing exactly how to locate his cards and play them at the right time. You're 100% correct. I'm sorry.
It's totally fine. But my point being that if he doesn't find Alex Straza soon, he could just end up dying to like hero powers, Unleash the Hounds, and any burn spells PinpingHo has in his deck. The weapon plus hero power next turn puts him all the way down to 11, and you've got to be getting worried if you're Kycoo.
Yeah, and I feel like you need to. And you see, if you play Frostbolt, no, I don't know why you didn't last turn. I almost would have liked the Arcane Intellect and Ice Block this turn, but this is perfectly fine as well.
I think AI there, which is better. The Frostbolt, it says like it removes 3 damage from the board, but it really only removes 1 because you get the 2 1/1s down, and then that's a great draw from PinpingHo. It's a sticky minion,
And
it's
you
something
get
to play, and you get to fit in the hero power, exactly. So you're really just keeping the pressure on here.
And it's looking really good for PinpingHo. If you're I don't even know what the play is for Kycoo. I think it's using your coin to get Arcane Intellect and maybe Conan Cold. I feel like he's not. We really need to be drawing.
I don't think he needs to use coin here. I think he can just AI
use Frost
and then
Nova.
Frost Nova.
That's fine too. Yeah, I don't know.
I think just digging for Alex is the way to win, because if you dig for Alex, then you can just win the game, and it's as simple as that. So I don't think there's any reason not to AI here.
But either way, you need AI, is what we're both saying.
We're not AIing this turn, so we'll hopefully AI next turn with Nova. This AI needs to be played soon.
It really does. That was both of our points. And like he's still holding on to it, and it's kind of like he didn't get value of the Acolyte earlier, and he didn't even try to secure any value of the Acolyte, which is weak. And now we're just kind of seeing what happens when Freeze runs out of steam, and they're not even like trying to recoup that steam. It seems like.
So I'm really hoping to see like AI plus Frost Nova here. Blizzard lets him get a lot of damage in. He takes 1 from the bat, and then he takes 1 from each wolf. So I really like the AI here to start off with.
Has to be AI at the beginning. We have to see it here.
I agree.
And then we can evaluate, but it has to be AI.
Okay, so he's gonna go with Loot Hoarder Frost Nova. All right, this isn't horrible. This is the one way. I'll allow him to not play the AI, but. This AI needs to get out of the hand soon. The longer, oh my gosh, and PinpingHo's hand is just awful. Yeah. I mean, like, the Hunter's Mark is, like, decent for dealing with Alex, but Alex isn't here, and he already had 1. 2 is just so bad.
Yeah, luckily PinpingHo has, the Hunter hero power. But outside of that...
Really all he needs at this point, damage, and the hero power does a good job of that. 2 every turn seems slow, but with Kycoo playing as slow as he is, just freezing the board each turn, 2 damages. Plenty.
This is so ugly for PinpingHo. He's literally sitting here trying to decide if he wants to play one of these hounds.
I don't think you do, personally.
I like how he's thinking it through, though. I think that's really smart to think out the options. I'm sure he's just trying to figure out if there's a way he can make the damage work with his hero power and the bow, but I don't think that's there right now. So
just making it seem like you have a play is probably a good idea, because if you just ended your turn there, it would seem very suspicious.
Yes,
like
it does.
What 4 cards do you have there that you just refuse to play? It gets really weird.
Yeah, because you wouldn't think you would float 6 mana as a hunter right here. So
if you have a kill command, you're popping him. So that can't be one of it, because you just kill command and then hit. There's just it becomes a very limited amount of cards that you can actually have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hero power there, and even with thinking about it for a while, Kycoo's probably wondering what's going on here.
So this is Frost Nova Emperor, which is fine, but this is fine. I want to see that Arcanine get played.
This is still fine, because now he can fit in the AI with the Blizzard. He can even toss an Ice Lance at the face next turn if he feels that.
I believe it's the correct. Yeah, I believe it's the correct play, but
now I don't see how he wins, because PinpingHo pops him at 1 here, and then can just hero power every turn and make sure that you can just pop him every turn.
Yeah, I think that secured it. You can hounds and clear and do all those things.
There's like a couple of options. There's like a defensive Alex, but
yeah, and I don't think you're gonna have time. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have time for it.
There's drawing the block off this, but then it just gets popped, and then.
And you're just out of time, I think, overall. But yeah, I like PinpingHo's ordering. This is a very just smooth allocation of resources. It just makes sense. It works, and I agree with you. I think Kycoo has run out of time.
Yep. I think that, we never got to see this AI played. If he had played this earlier, he'd be, a couple cards closer to Alex, maybe. He could have prevented that pop there by having the Emperor one turn early, which means that the Lance would have came down last turn. There's just a lot of things that could have been changed in this game by that AI actually being played.
It's almost like he loses 3 cards out of his entire deck, because 1 sits dead and 2 never get seen. It's just really awkward for that card to have sat in here this so long. You had time to play it.
And Blizzard here is just like nearly unplayable because you have a 50-50 at losing.
Yep.
If it hits the face, you just die because of Fire Bat. If it hits the Loot Hoarder, oh well, if I'm PinpingHo, I don't really care because I'm just going to Hero Power and pop you anyways. So now,
and that's game.
Does he potentially set up a 2-turn lethal here by blocking and going face and then pyroing? So, okay, so now, even if he had tried to hit the face and Fireball, there's no way he would have been able to kill him before he dies. So I like this from Kycoo, but I think that's all she wrote here. Especially with the Hunter's Mark in hand. Even if there was some sort of defensive Argus, or defensive Alex, and PinpingHo not being able to kill me, the Hunter's Mark will just wrap it up, and I couldn't really do anything. And I think it's the same situation here in this game.
I agree. I think you just run your bow into the Acolyte, hit him in the face, and that can really just be your turn.
I think you just I think you just kill the Acolyte with the bow and Hero Power. I don't see how you ever lose.
I mean, can there be a miracle? No, I mean, there just can't be at this point, right?
I don't think so.
Defensive Alex, and there's still... I mean, it just gets removed.
I honestly think that he just face tanks it. I actually like the juggling up and down, though, because it makes it harder for you to be able to not kill him after he Alexes himself.
Yeah.
Even with the Hunter's Mark, you can just kill the Alexstrasza, and then it's unlikely he'll ever kill you. But
I
there's just no reason not to play it, because if he Blizzards, the Fireback kills him.
Yep, and without the Alex coming up the top, that's definitely the game.
So PinpingHo takes game 1 with Hunter, and that Hunter was banned last series, and so was Kycoo's Mage, so that was the 2 decks we hadn't seen yet. Maybe that's why people didn't bring the Mage deck, just because they were worried they'd be getting hit in the face and die before they can actually Alexstrasza, like they previously had a decent amount of time to do.
Yeah.
Moving on, we'll see PinpingHo with his Paladin and Druid, and Kycoo with all 3 of his decks here.
So we see PinpingHo's Paladin, which was a Cthulhu Paladin.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty crazy considering Paladin didn't even get any Cthulhu cards. And then we just had sort of a Miracle Rogue build out of Kycoo. So, what's your guess on who wins this one?
I'm not sure if he's playing Conceals and stuff. I didn't see any in the first game. But I think that if he is and tries to go for something like that, PinpingHo's Equality Cons combo will really put an end to that. I think either way, PinpingHo is probably favored, just because he has a ton of healing. He'll be able to stay alive. His board control is pretty solid. Yeah. But I could definitely see Kycoo winning. This isn't a matchup we've seen, so it's hard to say.
I like,
especially with PinpingHo's deck. It's not like he just took this deck and built it, and it's kind of a weird deck. The cards are in it are weird. He plays a lot of one-ofs, to the point where we actually thought it was Reno.
Yeah, I was convinced. What's great about PinpingHo's starting hand is it's just so good against Rogue. True Silver is such a great tool. You were saying the Equality Con or Pyro Equality tool, that's going to be very important to him winning this game. But True Silver and Aldor are just as important in a lot of ways in this matchup. And it's a pretty good start for both players.
True Silver is extremely important, and you've got to be really happy for PinpingHo to see that in your opening hand.
Yeah, you hard mulligan for it almost every time. It just deals with everything the Rogue does.
You don't have a ton of good 4 plays, but Cthulhu's Chosen is another good one, so he has options. And then True Silver takes out a minion on 4, lets you play a minion on 5, and take out another minion with the True Silver. Especially against a deck like Rogue, that's really strong.
Yeah, it just clears Azure Drakes. It clears the 4 mana 5/4. It just does work.
For sure.
Here we're probably just seeing a hero power from both players. Perfectly fine. And another hero power. Slow starts, but a lot of action's about to start happening here because these decks clash in the mid game.
Kycoo's just setting up for his Frost Giant here. Kappa, but now we get to see Coin Chosen into the True Silver. That's really strong for him. He gets to take out, like, his board presence here is just really strong. This backstab will clear up the Chosen,
Yeah.
but he'll have the True Silver for the Pillager and the Drake, so that's really strong for him.
You think we see Pillager or Zeril?
That's a good question.
If you're trying to play around the True Silver, then like Zeril's slightly better. But I mean, you're gonna you can't really play around it because Drake and Pillager are gonna die to it eventually. You would think.
Yeah.
So maybe
technically we could see a huge Edwin, but I don't really like that.
I don't like that.
Just because against Aldor. So I think the play here is to. Or we're seeing it. It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening. I guess it displays around True Silver to a T.
For sure, but it doesn't play around that Aldor Peacekeeper that we see in PinpingHo's hand.
Nope. So that's
just really bad.
And that's why we talk about Aldor is a key card, True Silver is a key card. It just deals with everything the Rogue tries to do. And it's so important to have.
And if I'm PinpingHo, I'm not mad that my True Silver didn't get value there. You know, I got to deal with the Edwin, which can be sometimes problematic. I got to keep the True Silver for this Drake, or this Pillager, or this Zeril we get to see. So no matter what, this True Silver will probably end up killing 2 things.
You don't really have a clear turn 5, so playing True Silver on 5, and especially when seeing the Drake, is just fantastic. You're not upset at all.
So the Aldor Peacekeeper does follow the weapon, but this 1/6 will be the only thing left on the board after this, so I'm really not too disappointed by that.
Shadowcaster. That's
I was just going to mention that. I was going to say, was she a Shadowcaster in Kycoo's hand? Very interesting.
We didn't see that last time, and I don't feel like we saw like Raptors or the 4 mana 1/1 or Cairn. The cards that you would see with this card usually over the last 24 hours.
It's very interesting. We'll hopefully get to see something with it here work nicely, but no matter what you do this turn, your minion dies to that True Silver, which is just so unfortunate.
Yeah, I guess.
I think you definitely go with one of the 4 mana guys.
Yeah, I guess
just
you try
because
to get.
it lets you fit in the hero power.
And you go for the one that like hurts less to be hit with True Silver, which is
I
Zeril.
think you just drop in Zero hero powering, going face with that one, and calling it a day. The Zero will let you get those toxins, which will help the auctioneer.
Yeah,
and
Becky Chester off the top, I was about to say. It's pretty key.
Like you said before, this is the one that hurts the least when it comes to being True Silver down.
Yeah. You can, depending on how PinpingHo feels, he doesn't even have to use a True Silver. He can use Disciple, he can use Consecration, clear the board that way, or he can just take his True Silver in and then play the Crazed Worshipper. He has lots of options. I'm very interested to see what he decides is the best play.
I think you Disciple here, like, I don't see a reason not to. You put 2 damage into a 2 health creature. I guess he really wants to get this Worshipper down.
Yeah, I don't hate this at all.
I think I would have definitely Discipled there, but then again I get a weaker minion, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, the problem with Disciple is you just hero power after. That doesn't feel good. You have a 2/1 and a 1/1 on the board. This at least puts something out and
I mean, the thing that I was considering is that if he is going to Gazatran this turn, which is likely, especially after just seeing those toxins, you're going to quality cons anyway, so you really don't need to get too good of a minion on the board.
Yeah, that's true.
Then again, I can see Kycoo's hand and PinpingHo's can't, so his play was also probably pretty strong overall.
Yeah.
The Cthulhu's getting pretty buff here, though. So
Yeah,
that's
it
pretty
is.
good for PinpingHo.
He's very buffed, and like you were saying though, the pyro equality is going to come into play here for sure, because he's not going to let that stealth Gadgetzan sit around.
For sure. Otherwise, like, PinpingHo doesn't know that Kycoo only has 2 spells, but even 2 cards is pretty huge, especially when these cards can lead to even more cards. If I'm PinpingHo, I'm not risking it. I'm just getting this guy off the board before he just draws his whole deck.
And you got something to play afterwards if you want to go with the pyro route. So
there's a decent amount of options here.
Yeah, you can go with the quality con, you can go pyro quality, then the Beckoner. I think I lean that route.
Yep, I agree. I think pyro, quality Beckoner is probably the way to go. Don't see a reason against that.
Trying to think what else he might be thinking. Is he like considering running the 3/4 into the 1/6 just to get some value for Cthulhu? That doesn't seem right. So I think this is definitely the play.
I agree. Yep, and he's doing exactly what we thought he would.
Strong. Cthulhu gets to 10/10, which is really important. Well, usually there actually isn't any Paladin cards that benefit from it, but it does help Twin Emperor.
Yeah, it helps Twin Emperor, which we saw in PinpingHo's Mulligan. So that's strong, and just buffing Cthulhu in general is really good, just because you're playing a Cthulhu deck, you want to get that guy huge and just take over the game.
And you do get to play Ragnar's Light Lord next turn, so everything's really just falling into place for PinpingHo. Over on Kycoo's side,
you do get to play that Ragnaros, but it actually isn't like insanely strong, and then Kycoo has like a couple ways of dealing with it. He can trade his minions in, he can sap it, so I actually think Kycoo's kind of favored in the current situation. Just because he has such a card advantage over PinpingHo, and he can just keep producing minions here.
I think he'll still need a couple more tools, but he does get to slam minions for a couple turns, which sometimes can be a problem for Rogue. But this is definitely working out fine right now. Like, if he does play Ragnaros, it just gets sapped, and then like the tempo for Kycoo is just insane from that point. Because you can drop Drake as well, and oh man, it's starting to definitely the tide's turning. I kind of thought PinpingHo was ahead like this entire game, but the tides are.
I thought he was until like that. What really killed him was Kycoo getting the stealth toxin off of the Zero, because that made it so that PinpingHo had to dedicate a turn to equalitying, and not only did he have to equality, he had to equality on a suboptimal board, which let Kycoo just flood the board with minions, and now he just takes over the game.
If it wasn't the taunt, or it wasn't the stealth spell, you could have maybe like discipled consecration and things that way, which would have been a little cleaner. So
like this Ragnaros isn't very strong. Healing for 6, where it can just get traded into or sapped, is just pretty poor.
I almost think it's gonna 100% get sapped too, because you do have 11 damage in your hand. You kind of just want to be, or 11 damage on board, and you kind of just want to be pushing this stuff right now.
Yeah. Just like Rake Sap or Teacher Sap, just pretty much any minion here and then Sap just puts on so much pressure, because he wants to spend a turn lay on handsing, and really all he does is just draw 3 cards, and then the pressure's still there. So if he doesn't get a quality off the lay on hands, then it's almost just over.
I can understand why you'd want to trade though, because I mean, like, you are dealing 8, sure, but then he's playing Rag again, and he's just healing back up that 8. So
might just be better to like. Oh, well, he doesn't look like he... Oh, he could just play Pillager and then double trade. He actually could double trade, still play Drake, because he gets the coin off Pillager.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options here.
Yeah, I kind of like the double trade now. And I'm like looking at it, because it still builds. And like, you don't have to... Like, you just get rid of this thing. Sap's gonna find more value. Like, it's not like Sap's gonna lose all value. So I like this idea.
Ooh, he face tanked it. Alright, I'm all in. That's fine with me.
Oh. Yeah? Okay.
He's not really under, like,
pressure
in terms of dying right now. And then he probably does have a second Earthen Ring, so that'll help his case. And then PinpingHo doesn't have a quality con. He can keep just putting a ton of damage here.
Yeah, but your opponent runs a second equality. I don't know. I think I would have run the 3/3 in. I don't think taking 8 there is fantastic. You're playing against a Cthulhu list. You don't want to be at 12. But I don't know. It works fine considering the hands. But, I mean... I don't know.
Who just has balls.
Yeah, he definitely does. I think that was a little risky, but Cyclopean Horror.
He could have something in his deck we don't know about that'll help him heal. We saw the Shadowcaster for the first time this game. There could be other things.
But choose between going from 20 to 12 or keeping a 3/3 on the board.
20 to 12. Just let him live his life. He wants to keep the 3/3.
No, you have to deal with that.
Put a ton of pressure on his board anyway. Yeah, but you do have a pretty big board, and your board's only getting bigger. So you just need to put a clock on him. If you keep like letting him
heal, put a clock on himself.
But like, look at the amount of pressure he has on PinpingHo. Like,
100%. But your opponent runs a quality. Like,
sure.
It's just risky. It's just risky in my opinion. I feel like it seems like an unnecessary risk to me for just a 3/3.
He has a quality. Aren't you probably gonna lose anyways?
Not really. You still have you still have a pillager. You still have a teacher. Like, I don't know. I understand it, but I think it just seems like an unnecessary risk, and it's gonna pay off. That's the thing. I can't really win this argument. It's gonna pay off for him, but it still
I
seems.
can see your point of view. I'm not saying just because it worked out for him it was right. I'm just trying to argue.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's just.
This isn't a play where I just think it's clear cut. I think that it could be swung either way. Taking the 8 damage is like, sure, it's a lot of damage, but it does help you set up lethal. This Earth Ring ended up pushing 6 already, and it could go to 9 here.
Yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with good debate during the cast. It's all in the good Hearthstone talk.
So he could just be dead here.
I think I would have maybe gone for Consecration, double Disciple. You could have cleared a bunch of stuff. You could have cleared Drake and the Shadowcaster, but he decides to go with the double taunt.
He sure does.
I think I would have definitely put his board at 6 attack instead of this, but interestingly enough, the sap will have a lot of value here for sure. How exactly does he want to deal with it? He has Eviscerate.
I feel like that's close to lethal, if not lethal.
That's what he's trying to figure out right now.
So he definitely saps the 1. He can prep a Vis.
SI.
He can SI, but he can Shadowcaster. But no, he doesn't have enough mana for everything. It doesn't work out.
Doesn't work out perfectly.
Really close though. He can get to like 14 damage, I think it is.
Shadowcaster in this deck, I didn't really understand it at first, but it makes a lot of sense when you're getting stuff like Drake and Teacher back out. You get the card draw of Drake, you get Teacher value, how much attack and health it has. It's pretty interesting.
He could have put his opponent to 2 there, but I don't think that's worth it. I think this is the right line. Draw a card from your deck, maybe draw some more burst. And I think that wraps it up. I don't think there's any way that PinpingHo lives here.
That definitely wraps it up.
Now we see Kycoo tied up 1-1. After losing game 1 with his Freeze Mage, he picks up the W here with his Rogue, and he seems to really like this Rogue deck. He didn't lose a game with it in the first set, and now we see him in the second set winning yet again. So now we've got PinpingHo with his Paladin deck that we just saw, and his Hunter deck, and then actually he already won with his Hunter deck, sorry, and his Druid deck, and then we see Kycoo with his Warlock deck and his Shaman? No, Shaman got banned. Mage deck. Yep. So we see Freeze Mage versus this very healing Paladin deck. So I'm really not too sure how this will go.
It kind of just depends on the draw, I would think, from Pinping's side.
I know a lot of the more healing Paladin decks normally can't put on pressure, but PinpingHo's deck seems to be playing like a decent curve, so he'll be able to curve into the healing, and I think that's really strong against Freeze Mage.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Cyclopean Horror will probably be a dead card this game. Not a dead card, just a bad card.
Yeah.
You're not really happy to see Doomcaller in your opening hand against Freeze Mage. We'll see. He doesn't have the tools he needs yet, but he obviously has time to draw into them. On Kycoo's side, it's not bad at all.
Yeah. PinpingHo already chilling with his Cthulhu. That'll be important, but he doesn't really have much of a curve, so kind of bad for him. And then Kycoo's putting pieces together that he really needs. Like Doomsayer's kind of good. He just needs Frost Nova, and then he's got Ice Block, which you have to have. So his hand's really making its way into like exactly what he needs.
Yeah, absolutely. You use Hero Power. There's some thought put into maybe Quinn out Acolyte, but you don't really like that because then you don't really get to do anything next turn. You would have just switched these 2 turns essentially, but this is fine. On Kycoo's side, just Ice Block and go. Play it while you can.
Yep, I absolutely agree with this. We saw him kind of hesitate to do this in the first game that he played with Freeze Mage, where he didn't get the block down right away, and then he didn't get the AI in, and that made him pay. So I think he's learned his lesson, and he knows he just needs to get the block down right away.
Yep, absolutely. I think that first game he was just kind of maybe overthinking some things a bit, but there, I think he's good. We showed a lot of really good play last game. He's obviously a very skilled player, and I think he's just maybe overthinking things the first game, but
sure.
Like you said, he learned his lesson.
And I really like this play. It makes it so the loot hoarder can test the Chosen. If PinpingHo wants to like truce over this down, then that's kind of like a waste of a charge. And you also kind of want to save the truce over when you need to heal. It's unfortunate for PinpingHo that he doesn't have a Disciple here. Disciple would really help him out.
Yeah, but I
we
think
will see the truce over.
I think you're forced to truce over here to try and apply some pressure.
Put some pressure, and wasting 1 charge isn't that bad. And then getting the truce over down now for another minion is also decent.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. We saw Forbidden Healing get drawn from PinpingHo too. That'll probably be significant later. Oh,
huge! After an Alex draws up, puts you to 15. You just heal right back up. And Kycoo might not know that PinpingHo plays that. PinpingHo's deck is very interesting. Plays a lot.
How good is an Aldor Forbidden Healing on 10 after you see an Alex?
Pretty solid.
Oh wow, that's nuts. Forgotten Torch makes a lot of sense.
Good draw, though.
I don't feel like you need to play Blood Mage here though.
Yeah, I probably agree. I think Ping is probably better. Because now that Acolyte makes it very awkward, you kind of have to ping off your own Blood Mage if you want to deny him. Well, now that PinpingHo Hero Powered, you can just trade it in.
Yeah.
An Emperor draw, that's definitely solid. I don't know if we'll see that quite yet, but
yeah, you don't exactly have the tools to make that amazing. We also don't really have much else going on, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it at all.
You don't have much else going on, and you'll probably need to draw this Emperor at some point to win, so it's definitely not bad to draw it now.
You kind of have something else now if you want to go that route, but you're also providing value for your opponent this way.
I think
you also don't care, really. Yeah, you don't really care, because you're still drawing cards if he decides to go this route.
Freeze Mage, you kind of just do you, and then let your opponent chill, and then you kill them.
Jeez.
We do see a Tuskar Jouster, so that's like so many points of healing that we see in PinpingHo's hand.
Yeah,
we've got the Tuskar Jouster, which could be 7, and then we've got the Forbidden Healing, which could be up to 20.
And I almost want to say that Joust would be guaranteed, because we would assume...
Sure.
It might not happen, but we would assume it would happen after an Alex, and that's like the biggest minion left in Kycoo's deck. So
even if it happens before Alex, he's only got the Alex.
Yeah.
The Emperor's already in his hand, so every other minion's like 3 or lower, and then PinpingHo has a ton of big guys.
Exactly.
He's got...
Even as Cthulhu? No, the Cthulhu's in his hand.
A lot of the bigger minions are actually in his hand, which is unfortunately for him.
Yeah,
but
they really...
He's
the
still
three
got,
biggest
like...
minions, Rag.
Emperor, Rag... Or not... Yeah, he's got Rag, he's got,
I would say Tyrion, but we haven't seen Tyrion.
He has Tyrion. Sure.
You would think so, but we haven't seen it, have we?
Yes, he has Tyrion. He definitely does. There's no way.
I mean, you have his list. Go find out.
He does. He has it. He plays Tyrion. I just looked. I just checked. Okay. He has Tyrion.
I'm not saying he wouldn't. It's an obvious play, but it's just interesting. We hadn't seen it. We've seen stuff, all this other stuff. You sure there's not a Reno in there?
That would be very unfortunate for Kycoo, but unless PinpingHo snuck that one in between games, there's definitely no Reno Jackson.
Doesn't this feel like a horrible, like, don't you feel bad doing the combo here, but you kind of feel like you have to?
It's not absolutely horrible, because if he doesn't have an answer to this, you get to play the Emperor, and then the Emperor might actually live.
Yeah, that's just true.
Especially with PinpingHo's hand, you don't see inequality, you don't see any sort of weapon, so it's likely that that Emperor will just live at least 2 turns.
This
Which
is
would be very solid. Okay, okay, so he's pointing at the ping at the Doomsayer for me, but I think that should go somewhere else.
Yeah, no, it'll go somewhere else. I don't think it'll go on this Doomsayer.
I think it should go right to the dome.
Yep, I think that's the only place you go. I don't think you need to hit the 3-2 at all.
He hit the
Or
3-3 to make it a 3-2.
Yeah,
Makes it so it dies to Blizzard, but this Doomsayer will be going off.
Yeah, it
The
will
1
be.
damage to the face isn't too relevant though, so I don't blame him for pinging the 3-2.
It's still completely unnecessary, I think, though. It sets up Blizzard, yeah, but I don't know.
We definitely see Emperor ping the face, and then
100%.
he drew a Frostbolt there, which is another burn card. So he's already got 20 damage in his... No, even more. He's got 26 damage in his hand.
Imagine if he had saved the Blood Mage,
Oh yeah, tons. Really tons.
which is the whole
Now
reason he should have
He can
saved it.
kind of set up a 2-turn lethal, but that will be very awkward if he does that. And then PinpingHo just forbidden touches.
I think he's going to probably go that route, though, because his hand just asked for it, you know?
He could
He-
kind of
he-
just Blizzard, and
Yeah.
then he ends up with a ton of discounts. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think Blizzard and Ping Aldor here is probably best.
Yeah, that seems right. You're right. It's just his hand isn't really asking for much else.
He could toss the Pyro, but then the Emperor dies. And
Yeah, and you almost
just-
feel like this Emperor is not going to die at any time soon.
Yeah,
It'd be Blizzard.
Exactly. So I think you Blizzard, wait it out, ping off the Aldor, and try to sneak in some more discounts here.
Yeah, I can agree with this. It does seem completely correct. It seems like he only play unless he really does want to start burning, which will get punished very hard.
I wonder.
And he's going for it. Oh man. Yep, there it is.
Screaming.
Yep. And ping's face over hitting the 3-1. That's fine. The idea is you're probably blizzarding again, so it's gonna die.
I
either
could see that
way.
too.
A symphony of terror
Doomcaller.
begins.
I
Puts
think
on
that's
a lot of pressure. I
Yeah.
think that's probably what you do there, because that lets you Emperor, the Cthulhu's in hand too, so...
Yeah, you didn't
A
have
lot
the
of options.
10 attack Cthulhu before, so Twin Emperor wasn't really. You didn't want to play it there. It felt bad. So
Another Ice Lance. Wow, he has a ton of damage now. So he's got 6, 9, 12, 6. Okay, so he's got 6, 9, 12, 16, 20, 30. He's got like 31 damage, 32 damage over a span of 2 turns.
it would just be
Thank you.
correct, I would think, to Blizzard and start pushing some.
I think you Blizzard toss a little bit now, just because you can kill him next turn if you do.
Yep. Have to.
I think you
But,
just Blizzard. Oh, I don't know if I
don't
like this
that.
Doom.
I don't like that. You're still, your Emperor is living because it's continued
Yeah.
to live. You would
Yeah.
think, maybe Cthulhu comes out and changes that mind, and now Consecration's drawn, so it would definitely change that mind. But, yeah. From what you saw, I think.
I mean, I think that he might just be trying to distract PinpingHo, maybe try to deal with this Doomsayer, and then he has 30 damage out of hand. Yeah, 31 damage. He can fit in the ping too. So yeah, that's it. Kycoo takes this game.
Yeah, he does. This is crazy.
And literally
And
every
more.
card he can't fit that in, unfortunately. But
No, but
literally
it's just
every
funny.
card in his hand was burst. And
This
PinpingHo
is-
definitely doesn't expect this. Only a little over half the deck was drawn, and every burn card was in it, and that's really
Right.
unfortunate for
He could have
PinpingHo.
played. Oh man, no, he couldn't even have played healing and saved himself. He couldn't have played forbidden healing and saved himself. This is insane.
He could have been up to 30, and he still would have just died.
This is actually insane.
So Kycoo takes game number 3 to go up 2-1. He'll just have his Warlock deck left, and then we'll have PinpingHo with his Paladin and Druid.
That was actually insane. Wow.
Yeah, that was incredible. But that's the power of Freeze Mage.
Yeah.
You can just in some matchups draw until you OTK them. It's very similar to how the Priest one's played. And maybe Kycoo wasn't even trying to do that because he doesn't really know some of the cards in PinpingHo's deck, but that's definitely how it worked out. And I'm not complaining if I'm Kycoo.
You cannot complain if you're Kycoo in that position. It worked out peachy.
So here we are in game 4. We've got Kycoo with his Warlock deck, and we've got PinpingHo with Cthulhu Druid.
Yeah.
And PinpingHo's hand is great.
Yeah,
He's got a
it's
ton of options. He's got
amazing.
tons of removal. And we see Kycoo with a decent hand, too. He's got Flame Imp into Peddler, into Darkshire. Very strong.
I feel like you coin out Wild Growth and Disciple next turn, right?
I agree.
It's gotta be the play.
And you've got a ton of options on the turn after that.
Yep. This has got to be the play. And you can just pedal over on Kaku's in. Good hands on both sides.
Absolutely.
We'll see how the tide rolls. The tide will roll with, like, if the Druid continues to draw well. If it hits a couple dead cards, Zoo can kind of snowball. But even if that, like, PinpingHo draws, like, 2 dead cards in a row, it should be, like, I would think, like, Nourishes, probably, or that thing, maybe.
Yeah.
But
That thing actually isn't even that bad.
No,
Playing
it's really
that
not
for,
that
like,
bad.
5 mana, like, isn't bad. I think
you have
that
so many
if
tools.
I'm PinpingHo, as long as I'm not drawing, like, Cthulhu,
Yeah,
Growth,
that's
stuff
one,
like
yeah.
that, then I'm fine.
Yeah, you have so
Innervate
many
isn't a very good draw for him, though, either. So he has a decent
No.
amount of bad draws, but he picks
Wild
up, like,
Growth.
a decent draw there, which is all he needs.
Yeah, exactly. You have so much stuff, like, to just deal with his stuff. But you're like, Kaku's got his own stuff. So we'll see. Black Knight,
Got a lot of
There's a-
stuff.
yeah. Black Knight maybe isn't the best draw quite yet, but it'll find its place.
It's not horrible.
No.
It could definitely be worse. It could definitely be better. But if I'm PinpingHo, that's like fine. This 1/5 is very awkward for PinpingHo to
You
deal
almost
with.
just
though.
silence it. Oh man, and that feels terrible.
Silencing it isn't that bad though, because
Is it silence or is it Forbidden Ancient here? I think it's one of those two plays. I don't think you're swiping or wrathing it.
Probably the Forbidden Ancient. I think Forbidden Ancient's probably better than Keeper.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what he goes with.
Yeah, I think this is 100%.
This contests it pretty well. He has the option of keeping it for 2, killing it. He has the option of wrathing it for 1, killing it. He has the option of swiping something else. Yep, exactly. Tons of options here for him.
This
I
is
don't
the
mind
right
this at all.
route. Nope. This is pretty
1/5
good.
will grow quite a bit here, though. So
Yeah,
that's that
it
bad
will.
to deal with.
He can actually remove. Yeah, I mean, if he wants, he can make this trade. He does.
He
I
does.
don't know if it's the correct play, but he does it.
It's questionable because now if PinpingHo swipes, he does lose the 4/1, but he gets to keep the Wolf or the Flame Imp, which isn't awful. But Kycoo's hand is just abysmal.
Yeah,
He
it's
does
really
have a
bad.
lot of burst, 13 burst out of hand, but he can't Doomguard because then he just loses the POs. So he really needs PinpingHo to start like playing taunts, so he can just use these POs and then get a like free Doomguard. Otherwise, like Kycoo's just gonna keep having to tap. It just will get really awkward.
That's a good card. It's
Yeah.
not it's not the greatest card, but it's a good card for the situation.
That's for sure a good card to draw here. You get a 4/4 on the board, you buff your wolf, push a little bit of extra damage. I think it's solid.
Yeah, it's definitely works out. From PinpingHo's side, you can. If you want, you can clear that with Keeper and Wrath. That feels really bad.
That'll work out great for him though, just because
Yeah.
of how bad his hand is. But PinpingHo doesn't know that.
He doesn't
So
know that.
it's
If
a
he
lot.
knew Kaku's hand, it's like I think the only play. But
Sure, it's a little bit weirder for him though, because if he's over there probably assuming that Kycoo's hand isn't like PO Doomguard. But
that's a great
and
draw.
this is extremely good for him too.
Yeah.
This is great.
This worked out very nicely.
Ooh, but that's also really good for Kycoo.
That's a lot of 1/1s.
Gonna have a play. These will help him set up the POs, and then
Probably just tap too,
swipe.
and like get 4 1/1s enough. You've seen one swipe though, and you almost feel like you would have maybe even seen it last turn. Cause,
probably take the 6/1/1s and then just call it a day.
Possibilities.
Because
More stuff though, I feel like you need more stuff.
if you tap though, then you're probably gonna lose it with Doomguard anyways, just because hopefully you'll be able to use these POs soon and get that Doomguard on the board. So I think just taking the 6/1/1s and then trading is probably the
Yeah.
best way. And then next turn you can use
You
a
want
PO
your next
or
turn to be
two.
like double PO and Doomguard on like
Exactly.
1/1s.
So there's no
but-
point in tapping just because you'll lose.
Yeah,
the
yeah, because you will lose it. Because your perfect turn is you're losing one card only, and you're double POing and Doomguarding. So I agree with you. It is just play the 1/1s.
But he taps. Oh
So
my
now
god.
you're losing. No, I guess you don't have to lose the abusive. You can play it. So
I still just think this is incorrect.
Yeah, I agree. Because
And now the abusive.
your game plan is just like, yeah, it doesn't follow this.
He was gonna go face there. He could have set up lethal. He could have set up exact lethal. 6 1-1s on the board plus Doomguard PO is 13.
I agree.
19. So
I agree.
it's actually really interesting. But it looks like, yeah, and he literally would have won if he had done the other play.
Yep.
I still think he's not in
sense.
a bad spot at all. He has a ton of burst that PinpingHo definitely isn't expecting.
Yeah, I mean, you could clear this board and play a Doomguard, and that's perfectly fine. You'd still have a 1-1 after you clear.
Probably the...
No,
oh, but he taps. He looks like he's just trying to kill him at this point. He looks like he's just trying to kill him. That has to be what he's going for. I don't get it if he's not.
But still, leaving... Okay, so you do make trades, but you don't want to play Doomguard. Interesting.
Okay, so he's making trades, he's void walking. So he looks like he's setting up for Doomguard PO next turn. Can he set up lethal here? Did he go all face? Yeah, he did. Okay, so this puts him to 14, he has 9 in hand. Okay, so this makes a bit more sense, but if you're going to go with this, I don't know why you didn't 1 turn earlier.
I agree.
He did it
a little awkwardly.
Done it 1 turn earlier, it's less likely that PinpingHo draws swipe or draws some sort of big taunt.
I think he made a little switch in his game plan.
Kind of. You never really want to switch your game plan like that because now
you really don't.
He's really weak. He could easily lose now because of this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just unfortunate. He saw that he could be aggressive really late in his action over the last few turns, and that just kind of made everything he did awkward.
Yeah, I think I would have just gone full aggression, especially with my hand there. I think that was definitely just the right way to go.
And he's thrown in some taps that have made him low.
Yeah, he's very low in health now.
If he didn't need to tap all these times, he could have been a lot higher.
No,
and now he's finally Doomguarding at a very
perfect.
awkward time.
I got rid of the Doomguard, which is really unfortunate too.
The flame, it hurts too.
You've got to play it though.
You have to. You have no choice. You have to. And I think you just go all face.
Yep.
I think you have to follow that game plan.
That's the game plan to win. I don't think trading wins you the game.
Nope. Also, with the fact that you don't know your opponent has Cthulhu, but you have to be wary of it on turn 10. You have to know.
Especially with how his opponent's been playing, he has to recognize that some of the cards in his hand are dead, and you've got to recognize the possibility that one of them is Cthulhu.
100%, he has to try and win before turn 10.
And it looks like he will be able to here.
Yep. So he did it right. It all came together in the end. It was wonky, but it happened. And he recognized the aggression needed to be in place. And because of that, he will... Right? Or is he one off right now?
He's got it. He's got exact.
Yep. That's it. So he will take the series.
Kycoo will be our Tuesday Night Hype number 71 champion. It was a good match in the finals. We saw a lot of interesting decks. The tried and true theory worked out for him with the first standard tournament being a W for him. He brought all the old decks, PinpingHo brought all the new decks, and the old decks prevailed.
Yeah, it's very good play from both players. I really liked the route PinpingHo took. He was confident in his ability to theory craft. I think he probably theory crafted these decks before the tournament, maybe even a week ago, or whenever all the cards were released, and was like, this is what I'm going to play that day, because he really didn't have much time. And I like his confidence in that. It took him to the semis, took him to 2 World Championship points. Or it took him the championship, and it took him to 2 World Championship points. So he can't be upset.
For sure.
And for Kycoo, that's a great win. He wins against one of the... he's pretty well known in PinpingHo. It's a pretty nice win to be able to get against a top player in a grand final like that, and secure 3 World Championship points. So, awesome for both players.
Taking a W over PinpingHo definitely feels good there. Especially in a newer format where everything's still being tried out, Kycoo probably feels like he did a great job picking decks, and he definitely did. So congratulations to Kycoo, PinpingHo, and our other top 4 finalists. And we'll see you next week on Tuesday Night Hype number 72. Have a good night.
Thank you all so much.